Good morning, students. So today we'll be discussing the balance of the chapter wave optics. Okay. So in the last class we discussed the intensity, then the conditions for constructive and destructive interference and so many things. And finally we came to an equation. I think you remember that is for intensity. Intensity maxima is given by the expression. What is that? K into A plus B the whole square, where A and B are the amplitudes. Isn't it? Again, intensity minimum is given by the expression K into A minus B the whole square. Clear? Now, here we are going to have a comparison of the maximum and minimum intensity. Comparison of maximum and minimum intensity. That means we are going to take a ratio of maximum and minimum intensity. Okay, so first of all, I maximum is equal to K into A plus B the whole square, or I minimum is equal to K into A minus B the whole square. Clear? That is, A, I am taking B common here, A by B plus 1 the whole square divided by A by B minus 1 the whole square. Clear? Or I can write it as R plus 1 the whole square by R minus 1 the whole square. Where R is what? R is the ratio of the amplitudes. Ratio of the amplitudes. Understand? So this is the equation connecting amplitudes and intensity. Maximum intensity as well as minimum intensity. Then the amplitudes of two waves coming from different sources. Clear? So this is an important equation. With this equation, so many questions are asked. Okay, to find the ratio of the maximum intensity and minimum intensity, or to find the ratio of the amplitudes. One thing will be given, you have to find the other one. So in this way you can calculate. Okay. Now we will move to interference and energy conservation. How is interference related to the conservation of energy? Okay. Now, just now we discussed that the intensity for maximum value, intensity maximum is given by the expression what? I max is equal to K into A plus B the whole square. Isn't it? Again, I minimum, you know, that is K into A minus B the whole square. Clear? Now, I want to find the average value of intensity. For that, what I have to do? I have to add I minimum and I maximum and divide it by 2. Okay. So, average value of this intensity is given by I average is given by I max plus I minimum divided by 2. Isn't it? So, I can add these two terms, that is K A plus B the whole square plus K A minus B the whole square divided by 2, or 2K, isn't it? 2K and sorry, K is common, okay, divided by 2. That is, 2AB will get cancelled. Then K into 2A square plus 2B square by 2, or 2 will get cancelled. 2 is common here, 2 gets cancelled. So the final answer is K into A square plus B square. K into A square plus B square. So what does it mean? That is, the average intensity is equal to K into the sum of the squares of the amplitudes. K into sum of the squares of the amplitudes. So what does it mean? That is, actually intensity is simply redistributed. How? Intensity, the energy is redistributed. Intensity means what? It's a form of energy, right? So it is redistributed from the destructive interference to the constructive interference. If one side is dark, means the next side is again bright, isn't it? So from destructive to constructive, the energy is transferred. Energy is getting transferred. Okay, so the I average is equal to, it is redistributed to the, from destructive to what? Constructive interference, so that we can say that it is actually in accordance with the conservation of energy. Okay, interference is in accordance with the conservation of energy. Clear? So first we discuss the comparison of the intensity of maxima and minima. Then second one is how is interference related to the conservation of energy. Okay, for that we found the average value of intensity, and then we got one expression, that is K into A square plus B square. Okay, now let's discuss one of the important topics in this lesson, that is coherent sources and incoherent sources. Coherent, C-O-H-E-R-E-N-T, coherent sources and incoherent sources. So in the last class I told that if the light waves are moving from two sources, the light waves superpose on each other, and as a result you are getting interference pattern on the screen, isn't it? And depending upon the superposition, you will get bright as well as dark bands on the screen. That is, it may be constructive interference or destructive interference, depending on whether the crust falls on crest or the crust falls on trough. Understand? So you need sources of light, right? You need two sources of light, and these sources are emitting light waves. So these light waves having same wavelength, okay, the light waves having same wavelength, then same frequency, constant phase difference, or I can say of same phase. The last class I told what do you mean by phase and how it can be same, different, like that. That is, if I am considering these two waves, and the first wave starting from here, second wave also starting from the same point, at each point I can see that it is in constant phase. Clear? So this is of constant phase, but out of phase means what? Or different phase means what? If starting from 0, but if the second wave is starting from here, that is, it is ahead by 90 degree, I will get like this, isn't it? So always there is a phase difference between these two waves. So that is what meant by phase difference or same phase. Okay. So if the light waves are having same phase or constant, if they are same phase means the phase difference will be always constant, isn't it? So if there is a same phase or constant phase difference, if the light waves are having same wavelength and same frequency, we can call such sources of light as coherent sources. Understand? So coherent sources means the sources of light which emit the waves having same wavelength, same frequency as well as constant phase difference. So what is incoherent source? Yes, now it's clear. Because incoherent sources means the sources of light which emit light waves which are not in phase, or where there is no constant phase difference. Understand? Even though of same wavelength as well as same frequency, and if the phase is not constant, we can call it as what? As incoherent sources. So that is the distinction between coherent and incoherent sources. And the experiment that we are going to study, that is one of the most important experiment, that is Young's double slit experiment. Young's double slit experiment. Young's double slit experiment. This word coherent sources will repeat again and again. That means coherent sources are needed to form interference pattern on the screen. This is an experiment conducted by scientist Thomas Young in the year 1802, which describes clearly the wave nature of light. Okay, in which we are getting an interference pattern on the screen. So already we have studied conditions for interference like bright, for dark, so and so. So with that, with the help of that derivations, we are explaining here also. So the first condition to get such an interference pattern in this experiment is the sources should be what? It should be coherent. Okay, that is, it should emit light waves of same wavelength, same frequency and of constant phase difference or same phase. Okay, now what is the need of this coherent source? That's also an important question. What is the need of this coherent source? So we have an expression for intensity, that is I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 I1 I2 cos phi. 2 root I1 I2 cos phi, isn't it? So here this term cos phi is called the interference term. So depending upon the value of cos phi, we can estimate whether the sources are coherent or incoherent. So you know the value of cos phi will determine whether it is of maximum intensity or minimum intensity. That is why we are calling this term as the interference term. Okay. Now here I equals I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 I2 cos phi. Actually there are two possibilities. That is, in the first case, you know, if cos phi, the value of cos phi is plus 1. The value of cos phi is plus 1. You will get the expression as I equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 I2. Okay, so this term 2 root I1 I2 cos phi is the interference term. Now listen, depending upon the value of cos phi, you got the first expression, we call it as of the maximum intensity, isn't it? Maximum intensity. Now again second case is cos phi equal to minus 1, I equal to I1 plus I2 minus 2 root I1 I2, which we call it as the minimum intensity, isn't it? Minimum intensity. So in both cases, that is when the cos phi is plus 1 or cos phi is minus 1, you can see there is a constant value, right? Constant value is there for intensity. It can be either maximum or minimum. So in such a case, we get bright as well as dark bands on the screen. Bright and dark bands on the screen. So we can call this as the condition for coherent sources. That means only if this is a coherent source, only if this is a coherent source, we will get like that. Clear? Now the second case, the value of cos phi can vary. In between it can vary from negative as well as positive value. Like that the value is coming. The average value of cos phi is taken to be 0. That is, alternate maximum, minimum like values are coming means the average value turns out to be 0. So this term will be what? 0. So what is the net value? That is I is equal to I1 plus I2. I1 plus I2. What does it mean? That means I1 plus I2 means everywhere in the screen you will get the same intensity. You are not getting bright as well as dark bands. Interference will not happen. That is why you are getting what? Yes. What? The same intensity everywhere in the screen. So I equal to I1 plus I2 will come when this cos phi has a range of values. Cos phi is having a range of values from negative to positive or from positive to negative. Understand? So these are the two cases that can be considered as a need for coherent sources. You understood that only when the value of cos phi remains constant, either it is of maximum or minimum, you are getting what? Bright and dark bands. So you can say that interference is produced. Bright bands are produced, dark bands are produced, like that. But if the value of cos phi is varying from a range of like negative and positive as coming in between, you are not getting a bands, bright and dark bands on the screen, whereas you are getting the same intensity over on the screen. Okay, so the need for coherent sources you understood. Okay, now let's move to the conditions for sustained interference. Conditions for sustained interference. Sustained means what? If bands are produced on the screen, even though the bands are produced on the screen, we want it to be to last for some time, right? It should not blink and go away. It should remain there for some time. Sustained means നിലനിൽക്കുക എന്ന് പറയും അല്ലേ? So it should remain there for some time. For that, what are the conditions? That is also another important question. Conditions for sustained interference. Okay. So before moving to the conditions for sustained interference, we have to discuss one more thing. That is how to obtain the coherent sources, or how to obtain two coherent sources. I told that two coherent sources are needed to obtain the interference pattern on the screen, isn't it? That is what we are going to perform in Young's double slit experiment. So how can we obtain these two coherent sources? So first point is, it should be from the source of light should be from a single source by some device. What does it mean? That is, there should be a single source, the main source, from which the light should move or start to emit. Understand? So from this source, light starts to emit. Then, how can it be divided into two? As we will use two small slits there. Slits, small holes. Okay. So it should start from a single source. That is the first condition. And when it is passed through these fine slits, we will obtain the beams, and then what will happen? It will move like this. And you will obtain a pattern or a bright point or a dark point on the screen. Clear. Now the second is, it can be obtained by three methods. First one is Lloyd's mirror, second Fresnel's biprism, and third is Young's double slit experiment. So you have to study Young's double slit experiment in the syllabus. That at that time we will discuss more. Okay. Third is, we should use monochromatic light. Mono means what? Single, one. So monochromatic, chromatic means color, no? So single wavelength. The source of light should emit light of single wavelength or same wavelength. That is what meant by monochromatic light. So monochromatic light should be used, and the path difference should be small. Path difference between these two should be small. Okay. Path difference between these two slits should be, or these two sources should be small. So these are the conditions to obtain two coherent sources. What are the conditions? First one is, it should be from a single source which can be obtained by some device. The second one is, three methods are there: Lloyd's mirror, Fresnel's biprism, and third is Young's double slit experiment. We have to study the double slit experiment in detail. Then monochromatic light. We should use a monochromatic light because having a single wavelength. That is, if you are using white light instead of a single color or a single wavelength, you will get some other things here that we will discuss later. So that's why we are using monochromatic light. Then path difference between the two sources should be very small. Path difference between these two sources should be very small. These are the conditions. Then there are two methods by which we can obtain the coherent sources. One is division of wavefront, and the second is division of amplitude. What does it mean? That means if the light waves are moving from a single source, you know that wavefronts are also emitted like this, isn't it? But here the wavefronts are getting divided. The wavefronts are getting divided, and again this will move like this, this will move like this. Okay, so this is the method that we are using in Young's double slit experiment. So division of wavefront. By the division of wavefront, you can obtain the coherent sources, or by the division of amplitude. That is another method. You don't need to study that. Just be aware of that. Division of amplitude also, we will get coherent sources. Understand? These are the ways to obtain the coherent sources. Okay. Now, Our aim is to make this pattern, the pattern that we are obtaining on the screen, to be sustained. It should remain for some time. For that also there are certain conditions. So let us move to that. Okay. So this is the setup for Young's double slit experiment. That is, I told that it was conducted by Thomas Young in 1802. This is actually the study of interference, which again proves the wave nature of light. Okay. Now here, the first thing is, there is a source of monochromatic light. Source of monochromatic light. Then there are two slits, S1 and S2. It is separated by a distance, small d. These slits are separated from a screen, Mn, by a distance, capital D. Okay. So the light waves passing from the source will pass through the slits, and what will happen? Why we are allowing them to pass through the slit? Is to make the two sources as coherent. So they will superpose on each other, and a point P is noted on the screen, where sometimes you are getting a bright point, then otherwise it will be a dark point. We don't know that. So already we have studied the conditions. With that we will move. Okay. So this is the construction for what? Young's double slit experiment. Anyway, you are getting, after interference, you are getting pattern on the screen. That was the observation, patterns on the screen. And when this one slit was closed, you are not getting any pattern there. When the slits are kept away, there is a longer distance also, you are not getting the pattern. If you are not using a monochromatic light, you are not getting the pattern. Okay. So there are certain conditions for sustained interference on the screen. So the first condition is, it should emit light waves continuously without any break. It should emit light waves continuously. Okay. Now the second one is, the light should be monochromatic. It should have same wavelength. Then it should have the same amplitude, or you can say comparable amplitudes. Clear? Then the fourth case is, the slits should be close to each other. The slits should be close. Fifth one is, the slits should be very much narrow. The slits should be very much narrow. Understand? So these are the conditions for sustained interference. Okay. So it's also very important, the conditions for sustained interference.